Hi. Okay. So today we're going to be going over how to calibrate a room with the Motive and the Optitrack cameras. So for this, you're going to need the calibration wand, like so, and you're going to need the ground plane wand, this one here. So these are both accessible at the ER, or sorry, not the ER, in the Media Commons equipment room. So ask the staff and they'll be able to check some out for you. Let's take a look at Motive. So in Motive, I'm in the calibration layout. This one right here, it's the very first one. So you can see. So looking here, you can see that it's already a very calibrated room. I'm not getting any errors. I'm not getting any issues. I actually just calibrated it, so I know it's actually good to go. But if this is not the way it looks, you might want to recalibrate yourself. Honestly, if you see that the calibration is pretty adequate, you might not need to do this step. You might just go on to creating your assets. But if you do need to recalibrate, this is how we go about doing that. So let's create a new calibration. And then we're going to clear masks. And you'll see we get a lot of little errors and stuff. These are basically areas where there's something shiny and amiss. Like you can see this one here, or like let's see this one here. We can go into grayscale and see it's this beam right here is reflecting and needs to be masked. And this is all done pretty automatically. We just say mask, and all those get masked in red instead of white. If you still see something flickering that's going in white, then that means there might be a moving object that you need to get rid of. So in this case, you can see there's something going on in this camera. If we look into this camera, you can see the moving object is actually my keys. So that's like a shiny object. So we want to get rid of that. Also keep in mind that as you're doing your set, not to move anything that might have metallic or anything shiny, because then the masks will not be effective in moving objects and you might have to recalibrate. So things like chairs with shiny rims, or anything metallic that would involve movement, you would want to tape up or like avoid moving. All right, so we're masked, so we can continue on to the wanding process by pressing continue. And then we're going to, if we go, oh yeah, let me show you how to set up the wand. So here is the wand. So it comes in 3 pieces. We have the handle, and then we have the top here. And then very important, we have this little tiny screw piece that lives right here that we're going to take out. And this is how we connect the two. So there are 2 ways you can connect the wand. You can either connect it with the, let me kind of back up a little bit. You can connect it with the dots facing forward, or you can connect it with the dots facing up. There's a little, you'll see there's like a little divot right here, and like there's a little square right here, and you just kind of align them. So like you can have the dots facing up, or you can have the dots facing forward. I prefer the dots facing forward, but it's kind of up to you in your wanding technique. So let's do that. Oops. So we're just going to align them and then screw in with the little 3rd piece, and then just kind of tighten them a little bit. Just kind of twist, make sure they're all tightened. Not very hard, just kind of a little bit. All right, so now we're ready to start wanding. So if you're working with a partner or you have a technician, I recommend starting wanding in the middle. Because I am here alone, I'm just going to click the wanding process and then move towards the middle to begin my wanding. So let's go back to the scene. So I'm going to say start wanding, but I have this in one camera in, so it's going to give me this error here. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to count only selected camera? You don't. You want to click after all of it. So if you have a camera highlighted, it's fine. Just break cancel and click out so that nothing's highlighted, and then you can begin the wanding process. So I'm going to click it right now and go back to, all right. So you won't be able to see all of my wanding because, you know, I can't move the camera. But I usually, like I said, like to start in the middle, and then I do kind of spiral a little bit out slowly, kind of yellow brick road style. And you'll notice I'm twisting the wand in a figure 8 and also rotating it with my hand back and forth so that I get kind of a nice like up and down. You want to be able to like touch kind of up in the highest point and the lowest points that you want your cameras to register. So just be mindful that you're doing really deep swings. Like don't do this kind of thing. I mean, you can do that for a little bit, but like you want the overall to be kind of very deep and long. And if you're in the ballroom, it's just kind of a general square. So you would just kind of need to kind of circle out until you get to the edges, maybe do a little bit of back work back in. But because I'm in room 220, we have a lot of cameras and a little bit of wonky spots just because of the way the room's set up. So I'm gonna have to kind of go around and do a little bit of extra kind of wanding in areas. So like right here, this one's kind of a little low, so I want to kind of just kind of, you know, make eye contact with all the cameras. And you'll see as you're wanding, the rings are going to light up green, and kind of there's like a little blue section that shows you kind of where it's picking up the current wanding, and then like kind of where it, and then the grayed out like non-green sections are where it's still missing some data. So you just kind of want to kind of make sure it swings all around each camera, all of the green spots. So like camera 24 is especially tricky because it's facing towards the computer. So I'm just gonna kind of do that. So like, yeah. And like, you know, we might not be using this section if it's not in the black area room, black space. So, but it's still, you kind of want to wand it just so that the cameras are being responsive. I see that there's a camera over here flashing, so I'm going to kind of go over there and give it some direct attention again. Also to note, when you're in the black space, please have your shoes off. You're going to want you're not going to want shoes on this particular floor, but the rest of the space you can have shoes on. It's fine. I'm kind of doing this up wave for camera, what's that, camera 10, 14? Camera 14, because it's a little high. So I'm just kind of waving up in the air. You can see like this. I'm doing this actually, just to kind of get that top part and then back around. Now the volumetric capture, you're going to need to go into just to finish calibrating. And just be very, very mindful. Oops, that's fine. That was just the, that didn't have. But be very mindful not to touch the volumetric capture because it is very metallic. And if you do touch it, you're going to maybe need to remask, which means you need to start your calibration process over. So I'm just like, you can't see me, but I'm right in the middle of it, and I'm just gently wanding, making sure not to kind of knock it so that the cameras don't need to be remasked. All right, so all the cameras look pretty good. I'm going to step out and just kind of finish my wandering process. Okay, so let's kind of take a look at the screen. So you can see I have all my cameras have over 1,000 marks. If I was having a camera giving me issue, I can just toggle enable on and off. So if camera 1 was giving me issue and not giving me data points, I could toggle it on and off. I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to disrupt it. And if it's still giving you issue, you can actually just turn it off entirely, and it shouldn't disrupt. You won't have that camera, wouldn't be tracking anything. But if it's interfering with your calibration, then it's better to have it off entirely than to leave it on. And then the calculation should take roughly like 15 to 30 seconds, depending on how long you did it. Ideally, your wanding should only take maybe 2 or 3 minutes. You know, less is better. Mine took a little longer because I'm kind of explaining the process. But you know, you generally want to do it as quickly as you can while still getting good points is ideal. So it's going a little over because I was kind of doing it for a bit longer than you might typically. And you can see all the cameras are kind of off to the side. This is normal because you no longer have a set ground plane, so they're going to be askew because I don't know where the plane is, and that's fine. So my overall results are poor, so that's not good. I can see I get a lot of errors, and especially in 22 and 23. So I'm going to quickly redo my calibration because this isn't good. So I'm going to do it without talking, and I think that will kind of help my results. So I'm going to cancel calibration. I'm going to do new calibration, clear mask. Okay, all that's good. Continue. And then just going to click start wanding after. Right. Okay. Volumetric capture space. It's kind of circling around, so like I'm rotating all the way around as I do this. And I'm also going to lift up to get camera 13. Needs a little, try not to. There we go. All right, should be good. Okay. I need to do more on camera 4 and camera 10, 11. So also when you click on a camera, it's going to highlight that camera so you can tell what section. So this section right here needs a bit more detail. So that camera is like a little bit of a brighter green because it's highlighted, and so that way I can, like, if you have a camera, 4 only had about 800 points and I wanted it to be over 1,000. And I'm also 9 and 10. I need to do a little bit more. It's still on camera 4. Okay, so 9 is in this corner. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yep. And also, it's kind of by a curtain. Also, kind of be mindful of the curtains before you calibrate. Sometimes the curtains are in a really bad spot. All right, I think everything should be good. Looks good. Everything's over 1,000. Start calculating. All right. So I'll show you the screen. Again, you want all these numbers to be over 1,000. If it's under, just kind of highlight that camera and it will kind of pop up. You can see which one it is up there. There's also numbers on the bottom left corner that tell you which camera is which. Yeah, generally that's good. All right, so now you can see overall results are exceptional. You want at least excellent or exceptional. That's kind of what you're looking for. So one of the E words. And then you can see the margin of error is less than 0 for all of these. Ideally, you would want it like less than 0.0, but I'm happy with this. This isn't too bad. Excellent is better than exceptional, but that will be good. So we can continue. So let's continue. So before we set the ground plane, let's put up our wand. So I have my wand. I'm going to unscrew it again and place it back in its box. So got this guy. I have to turn it. It goes back here. And the handle goes back here. And then very, very important, this little guy goes right here in this little pouch. See right here. So very important, do not miss that guy, because otherwise you won't be able to connect to wands, and it'll be very frustrating for the next person who won't be able to wand because they're missing this piece. So always put that back. Okay, so now we have the ground plane. On the screen, you'll see it kind of opens like this. I'm going to show you the screen real quick. See, it goes from nothing detected to once I have it kind of in the area. You'll see it kind of showing up in that little left corner. Some things to note with the ground plane. So the taller side right here is going to be your forward axis. So what's going to be forward facing. So that's going to be where your talent's going to be facing initially. It's very important to kind of keep in mind where that is. Now, if you want it to be facing this forward or that forward, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you know which way it's forward. You know, if someone else set it up, you know, maybe just kind of like towards laptops is where or desktops is where I like to do it. You also notice that there's levelers on each one. So you want it to be like the green, the little bubbles to be in the black, inside the little black lines. If it's not, there's this little adjuster right here that you can screw to kind of rebalance, kind of like raise or lower this slightly. With that said, let's go and put this in the middle. So it's good to kind of have a good middle spot. Since the ballroom's kind of a screw, or 220 is kind of a little bit of a weird space, I usually kind of set the middle of the black area. So I use this little metal beam and then this little line here, kind of aligning it with the pillar. And I'm placing it that with my forward, the taller side being this way. And then I'm just going to take a look at my green dots and see if I need to adjust them. This one's a little to one side, so I'm going to twist the bottom part and kind of loosen it a little bit so it's more level. That looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to set my ground plane. Let's see. So once you have it in the place you want, you can just set ground plane, and then ground plane set. And we're back to having a beautifully calibrated room. Look at that. So now you can go on to building and recording and all that other fun stuff. And your room should be perfectly recalibrated. And let's see, some things to note. Oh yeah, it's also good to maybe mark where you put the ground plane, because having your talent be exactly in the center. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see where I was. There, it's right there. Having your talent be exactly in the center is very helpful for whenever you're receiving data. Just kind of maybe if you have some masking tape or something, just kind of like tape the part right here, so that the talent knows where center of the room is and can start and stop in that area. Okay, so yeah, let's put this back. And that's how you calibrate, and I hope that that's been helpful. All right, see you next time.